Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to Getting Real Estate in Vegas. I am Bridget Magnus, and this is the Vegas Video Network. Awesome. Yes, we'd like to thank those of you who are watching us on the Vegas Video Network, those of us who are watching on YouTube, those of us who have our iTunes subscriptions, very important, and those of us who are listening on KSHP, that's AM 1400, Friday nights between 6 and 10 p.m. Also, just a special little welcome in case any of you at the Star Trek convention happen to be watching us today. So then, let's get started by telling you the email address for those of you who'd like to send in your questions and suggestions. That's gettingreal@vegasvideonetwork.com. If you're more of a telephone kind of person, go ahead and dial our toll-free listener hotline at 866-966-4599. So then, who's ready for Friday figures? Yes, we're all ready for Friday figures. It's Friday. Let's act like it. So then this data is from our local MLS system as of this morning. We had 14,202 available units. The houses had a median price of about $135,000, and the condos and townhomes had a median price of about $61,000. Now, of that total, 3,390 were foreclosed homes. The median price on those is $103,000. But one thing I would like to point out is that that is coming off of its lows. A few weeks ago, we were talking about median prices of $99,000 to $100,000. So I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is improving. Short sales represent 6,258 of those available units. Median price on those is $110,000. And we do also have 4,556 non-disclosed properties available. Non-distressed, not non-disclosed. That's silly. We know about them. They're non-distressed, and the median price on those is $180,000. In the last 30 days, we have closed an amazing 4,092 properties. The median sales price on those was $107,000, and the median list price was about $109,000. We do also have 13,584 properties under contract to be sold. 4,598 rentals available with a median price of $1,100, and 2,446 leased units with a median price of $1,150. Now, that number of rentals is slowly coming up, and believe me, that is a good thing. So let's move on to some news, shall we? Foreclosures are down nationwide. Yes, I did say down for the 10th month in a row. Home prices and inventory are both down over 10% from last year. And in a bit of news that surprised me until I thought of it, mortgage rates are at or near yet another record low. So let's talk today about mortgage rates and why they are where they are. Now, last week we had a whole big mess with the national debt crisis and the S&P downgrade of the United States debt. That should make it, in theory, more expensive for the United States to borrow money, and that should drive up everybody's interest rates, right? So, in fact, I went ahead and put in a call to Carrie Phillips at Southern Fidelity Mortgage, who's been a great guest on our show before. And she said, I'm going to quote her on this, "I don't think that rates will skyrocket, but I'm locking in all my clients' rates because it's so unpredictable." So, the big question, why are we at record mortgage lows? Well, number one reason is Ben Bernanke. Let me tell you why. He is holding the interest rate that banks charge to one another under 1%, where they've been for over 2 years, to help stimulate the economy. Now, how the heck does that stimulate the economy, Bridget? The theory is that if interest rates are low, businesses will borrow money because it's cheap, and they'll use that money to expand, to buy more equipment, and to hire people. Theoretically, under the same bit of theory, if we were to raise interest rates, that would be to squash inflation, which, of course, you wouldn't know that the inflation rates are as low as they are to actually go and buy things in real life, but, you know, that's the government for you. As a side effect, though, these low interest rates happen to keep the growth of the national debt lower. So, do you think Mr. Bernanke could possibly have a second motive for keeping rates low? Could be. So then let's look at the other part of why rates are so low. And I'm going to bring up a chart here that is probably altogether too depressing to those of you who have 401ks or IRAs. This is a 1-month chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And you will notice that it went sliding down, particularly in the last week. Woo, that was a rough ride, wasn't it? So all those people were getting out of stocks. They had to put their money somewhere. They're not going to stuff it in their mattress at home, are they? So where did it go? It went into bonds and the money market funds that own those bonds. And that means bond prices went up. And just in case you didn't know, when bond prices go up, the interest rate goes down. And that brings me to my next little audiovisual aid here. The result is that we have low interest rates and negative return on some government debt. You'll notice the first couple of lines there, you'll actually have negative rates of return on these bonds issued by the United States government. That last line on the far side, however, that is the 30-year T-bill, and that has a direct impact on mortgage rates. And you'll notice that that very bottom number there and the very bottom bottom right is 1.12%. So that is what people are going to get if they invest in T-bills. Golly, you know what? Now investing in mortgage-backed securities sounds like a sensible thing to do, doesn't it? This, of course, does also, you guessed it, help to reduce the growth of the national debt. So this is actually a good thing for the feds, and, well, we'll just take advantage of it as regular old human beings, because record low interest rates, how long is that going to last? So then that's kind of the story on how we ended up with record low rates. I'm surprised we're here, but if you are in a position to take advantage of it, go for it. It is a good thing. All right, so we have a new segment to share with you today, and it's awesome. It's called, What Were They Thinking?
Dong, 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 dong.
All right, first a little bit of word of what we're doing here is we're taking interesting things that I see in real life that are strange and not necessarily good for selling a home. Now, here in Las Vegas, we have a lot of concrete block walls, and, well, they're practical, but they're not very pretty. I've seen a lot of people go ahead and make pretty murals on the wall back by their swimming pool, you know, a little jungle scene or a Caribbean sunset, something like that. But this is the first time I've ever seen anything quite like this. Yes, that is the front of their house, and they've done it up in this lovely graffiti-inspired mural that even trails over onto their garage doors. Isn't this exciting? I was actually showing the house next door, but this did tickle me enough that I decided I had to share this wonderful thing with you and ask that very important question: what were they thinking?
Dong, 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 dong.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break for station identification and be right back with some real advice, so stay tuned.
This is David Ivy from Pub Crawl. It's funny because this is David from. You should just leave it on. Hi, I'm David Ivy from Pub Crawl, and you're watching the Vegas Video Network. And scene.
All right, we are back, and it is time for real advice. Today, we are going to be talking about foreclosures just for a minute. And my advice to you, if your home is getting ready to be foreclosed upon, resist the urge to trash the place. Effective October 1, there is a new law that says that if you do trash your place in Nevada on the way out of being evicted, it's a crime now. It is a crime, and you may be subject to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. So tell me, is that stuff you're carrying out the back worth 6 months in jail? I didn't think so either. Keep in mind that there's also money in it for you to not trash the place, because if you leave the place nice with all the appliances intact, chances are that your former mortgage company will offer you cash for keys, and I would much rather get a check for $1,000 than a $1,000 fine any day of the week. Okay, that kind of kept it quick, so let's go ahead and tell you about some exciting stuff that's coming down for next week. Starting next week, you'll actually be tuning in at 1:30 because there is an exciting new show. It's coming on at 12:30 that I'm not allowed to talk to you about. There will be a press release Monday, so look for it. It's going to be extremely cool. In the meantime, questions, problems, suggestions. Have you seen something cool that you think would make a great What Were They Thinking? Go ahead and send that in to gettingreal@vegasvideonetwork.com. For those of you who prefer the telephone, remember that's 866-966-4599. Be sure to subscribe to your favorite Vegas Video Network shows on iTunes, and drive safely this weekend, people. It's a great day.